Hello and welcome to Yoga Tree. I'm Amy and this is Pixie, and I'm going to guide you through your practice. Yoga is about kindness. Kindness to the world, kindness to each other, and kindness to yourself. So if at any point any of the postures don't feel right, feel uncomfortable or unsafe, then please stop. Equally, if there is a part where you want to spend a little bit more time on a posture, where you feel you can really work on something that is really relevant to your body, then please pause the video and take that time out. It's very important we don't try and end with the end postures or the visualization of what we want, but really working within our own bodies. So today's lesson is all about our shoulders, but before we start any yoga, it's really important to understand the shoulders, that they're not just this little bit here. Our shoulders are a ball and socket joint, and so they can move very freely, and it's a very shallow joint, which means we're prone to injury there and dislocation. But also we have our shoulder blades down our backs, and our shoulder blades don't have anything attached to them. The only thing keeping your shoulder blades in place are your muscles all around. So when we think about our shoulders, it's really important to understand how to make sure our shoulders are in the right places when we're bearing weight and doing some of the more dynamic yoga poses. So first of all, I want to do just a little bit of a warm up with our shoulders. If we take our arms up to like a cactus position, and then I want you to just think about trying to draw your shoulder blades down your back, to think about trying to bring that ball and socket joint in and engaging these muscles down here and into your back. So I'll just show you from behind as well. We're going to draw our shoulder blades down. We're going to create a nice secure band around our shoulders. Our shoulders up here are away from our ears, and we have that security. We're engaging the muscles down our lats. So let's start. Find yourself in a comfortable sitting position, deciding whether you want your legs cross-legged or a half lotus. It's up to you. And then from here you're going to find your sitting bones, maybe needing to move a little bit of flesh away. We're going to think about that string pulling our crown up, giving us space between our vertebrae. And then we're going to just make sure we haven't stuck our chin out, that we've slightly tucked our chin in. From here, you're going to drop your right hand to the ground. You're going to take your left hand up, just taking a minute to make sure we haven't hitched your shoulder up near your ear. Finding space and length between your ear, your neck and your shoulder. We're going to take a breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to bend over to the right hand side. From here, you're just going to breathe into the side of your ribs. And out. And in. And out. Lovely. And then we're going to come back down to the center. Now dropping your left hand to the floor, bringing your right arm up to the ceiling, making sure you've got that length between your ear, your neck and your shoulder. Breathing in to find that length and then dropping over to the left side. And breathe. Really trying to breathe into this side of your ribs. Creating space and bringing oxygen to this part of your body. And then we come back down to the center. And then from there, you're going to take your right hand, you're going to take it to the outside of your left knee. You're going to find the length in your spine, and then you're going to twist over to the left hand side. And then breathing in, we're going to stay there, find length in our spine. And as we breathe out, maybe twist a little further. But really using your breath to find that twist. Your in breath to find length in your spine and your out breath to twist. Then coming back to center, we're going to take our left hand over to our right knee. We're going to find the length and space, and then we're going to twist over to the right hand side. and the hand on the outside of your knee to create a lovely stretch down your shoulder. And coming back to the center. Next, I'm going to introduce you to eagle arms, and we're going to continue with these arms throughout the practice today and hopefully build up to a full eagle pose once we're standing. What we need to do is we need to first of all just warm up. So we're going to bring our arms wide and we're going to cross them over and give ourselves a hug. And maybe you need to try and get in your fingers into your shoulder blades, give yourself a little massage. Then we're going to unfold and then fold again. And breathe in and out. And just start to warm up these shoulders. This time we're going to go to fold over and we're going to miss and we're going to bring our right hand on top of our left bicep, and then we're going to try and bring our hands together. And this is eagle. Now you might not get all the way there, doesn't matter where you get to really, but just taking a minute once you're there just to breathe, because this is a strong stretch. So breathing in and breathing out. Are your shoulders near your ears? Is your neck engaging? Just nod and shake your head to make sure your neck muscles aren't engaging. And if it becomes too much and it's too intense, you can just go back to this posture here, okay? So keeping our hands here, our intention is to bring our hands up and our elbows out. So our elbows are coming away from us and our hands are moving up towards the ceiling. And breathe in. And as you breathe out, I want you to bring your elbows back in towards you. You're kind of humbling the pose. You're going to drop your chin. You're going to create that C shape in your spine. And then coming back up to center. Bringing your elbows away, your hands up. Breathing in. As you breathe out, elbows back towards you, chin tucked in. Letting it go. One more time. Elbows away, hands towards the ceiling, breathing in and out. Humbling, bringing your elbows towards you, creating that C shape. Oh, hopefully that has given your shoulders a nice stretch. So we're just going to let that settle. Do some shoulder rolls. Doing one roll and then the other roll. Bringing your shoulders up towards your ears and breathing in. And letting them go and breathing out. Let's do that again. Breathing in and out. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So this time we want our left arm to be at the top, crossing over, bringing our palms towards each other. Take a minute just to breathe and find this posture. Then we bring our elbows away, our hands towards the ceiling, breathing in. And as we breathe out, elbows towards us, tucking our chin in, humbling our pose. 3 more in your own time. You'll find on one side you'll feel quite different to the other side, and that's absolutely fine. Elbows away, hands towards the ceiling, breathing in, breathing out, humbling that pose one more time. And letting go, and just giving your arms a little shake. Well done, that was brilliant. Let's now meet in tabletop. So we want to bring our hands underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips. So thinking about our back being like a table. But today we're going to really focus on our shoulders in tabletop. Often we really think about our pelvis and we're doing our cat-cows. But I want you to think about your shoulders. So first of all, you have to make sure your hands are in a comfortable position. So really spread out your hands on the mat and bring your fingertips kind of gripping on a little bit so that you're creating almost a little bit of a banda there. Then with your elbows, if you're like me, they might be slightly hypermobile, so you might feel that the fronts of your elbows are coming out like this. So we want to really think about trying to bring them into so that the inside of your elbows are facing each other. And the way we can do this is by not completely locking out. So you need to maybe slightly bend your elbows, soften your elbows. They can be straight, but don't have to be absolutely locked like this. Okay, so we're going to make sure we think about that. We're also going to make sure that we think about our shoulders in this position. We want a flat back, and the way we can do that is by kind of pushing into our hands, creating a nice stable ground. And we don't want to collapse in through our shoulder blades. So we have to kind of push into our hands and create this tension between our shoulders and our elbows and our hands without completely locking out. Okay? I know it's a lot to think about. From here, just breathe. Imagine that crown string is still pulling your crown, but this time it's going in this direction to create space. Are your shoulders up near your ears, or can you bring them back? Going back to our original little bit of information about creating thinking about those muscles in this part of underneath our armpit, in our lats, that can really create stability for our shoulder. And thinking about making sure that our shoulder, our ball is nice and secure in our socket. Okay, from here we're just going to start to move our spine and do our cat-cows. So we're going to imagine we're a naughty dog and we're tucking our tail under. As we tuck our tail under, our head drops. Maybe nod and shake your head just to make sure you're not using your neck muscles here. Thinking about bringing your shoulders away from your ears, creating that tension here in your muscles to support your shoulder. From there, you're going to drop your tummy down. You're going to look just in front of you and you're going to breathe. And then you're going to reverse that, tucking your tail under, dropping your head, allowing your neck to be soft, your head to nod and shake. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, dropping the tummy, looking straight ahead, creating that space in your neck. Really nice. Continue with 3 more of these in your own time. And then from here we're going to tuck our toes under at the back. We're going to imagine bringing our sitting bones up towards the ceiling. And we're going to just start to come into our first downward dog. Oh, little crack there. So just walk your feet through, 1 foot at a time, finding tension. And once you found getting rid of that tension, not finding tension, finding it and then releasing it. And then finding stillness. Doesn't matter if your heels don't touch the ground, finding stillness, making sure the knees are soft. And then we're going to bring our attention back to our shoulders. Have our shoulders come near our ears. Have we got that length and space? Are you thinking of pushing in through your hands to create that tension underneath your armpit, using your lats? And then just breathing in to try and lift your sitting bones, and breathing out just to release into the posture a little further, a little deeper. Just make sure you don't lock your knees out either. Keep your knees soft. Nod and shake your head. And from here we're going to slowly walk our hands towards our feet towards our hands, and find ourselves in our first forward fold. Take a minute just to pick up your toes and then drop them down. Just nod and shake your head. Make sure your knees are nice and soft. You can really bend your knees. This is about the contact between your stomach and your thighs more than having straight legs. You may want to catch hold of your elbows and breathe in. And as you breathe out, allow your shoulders to release. Are your shoulders near your ears? Is your neck engaging? Nod and shake your head. And then we're going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, and we are not going to, we might stop in certain bits that feel a bit tight. Your head needs to be the last thing that comes up. And imagine that someone is playing a piano up your spine. And we're going to roll one vertebra at a time. Slowly coming up to the top. Our head being the last thing that comes. Finding our final posture. From here, taking our arms to a T, to a Y, and then bringing our hands behind our head. Just look at where my hands are cupping the back of my head there. From there, you've got to bring your chin to your chest, looking down towards your stomach, down your thighs, down your knees to your ankles, making sure that your knees are nice and soft. Let go of your arms, nod and shake your head, and then slowly coming back up again, tucking that tailbone under, making sure your knees are nice and soft, all the way up, one vertebra at a time, making sure your head is the last thing. Let's do two more of these. Breathing in, using your breath, visualizing the spine. Let go of the arms, nod and shake the head. Soft knees as we come back up. Well done. And now we find ourselves in mountain pose. So we need to make sure that our feet are hip distance apart. And lots of people kind of are unsure of what their hips look like. So the best way is to take two fists and place them between your feet. And that way you'll get a good idea about what your hip distance is. You want to pick up your toes and find space between them, finding that connection with the mat. Making sure your knees are nice and soft. Making sure your tailbone is slightly tucked under. Your arms are by your side, and let's look at those shoulders. Let's roll them back into their sockets. Shoulder blades down our back. We've got that lovely space in the chest now, away from our ears. Head, crown lifting, chin slightly tucked in. Just take a minute to breathe. Even though mountain pose is so simple, it can actually be one of the hardest ones to actually hold. Lovely. Right, we're going to come back to our eagle arms, but this time we're going to start to think about the feet as well. So before we do the arms, I'm going to show you the feet, because you know the arms already. So we're going to take our right foot and we're going to bring it over our left foot. Now this might be where you get to. This might be enough. And actually already I can feel myself starting to have to think about my balance. Pick up your toes, drop them down. Really think about grounding your feet into the ground, like you've got roots growing from the soles of your feet. If you feel secure enough, you can hook your foot around the back of your ankle. So this is our eagle feet. Let's hold it for 3 breaths. You might be better with your hands on your hips or holding your arms out, but finding that stillness. Okay, let's let that one go. Now let's try it on the other side. First of all, getting that weight going into our right foot. Making sure that we're grounding through, lifting the toes and dropping them to have that real connection in our feet. Then we're going to take our other foot, we're going to drop it over the top, and then we're going to hook it around the back, or just stay here or here, depending on where you feel comfortable. Whoops. And then we're going to breathe. You might want to have your hands on your hips, arms out. Prayer position. Brilliant. And let go. So that is eagle feet, and pretty complicated. So find what feels good enough for you. Let's go back to our eagle arms. So we're going to take our right arm and we're going to cross it over our left bicep. And then we're going to find our palms together. Remembering we're thinking about our elbows coming out and our hands coming up. So let's have a look at that again. Elbows coming out, hands going up. From there, we can then take our left foot and drop it over our right foot. Finding that balance. Find a point to just focus on. Bring your toe down if you want some security, not quite there yet. Or you can keep your full pose, breathing in. Bringing those elbows away, those hands towards the ceiling. 2 more breaths. And let go. Really, really good. Give yourselves a little shake. Roll those shoulders back. 1, then the other. Super. Next we're going to try it on the other side. So this time we want to put all our weight into our left foot. Then we're going to bring our right foot, we're going to cross it over and maybe hook behind the back, maybe bring it next to it, where you feel that's enough. So we've got our right foot over our left foot, so now we need our left arm over our right arm. So the opposite cross on the arms as to the legs. So elbows away, hands towards the ceiling, and breathe. And we're going to let it go. Let's just swing our arms, bend our knees, and let that go. Well done. That's a really strong posture. Next, you're going to step your right foot wide. You want your toes pointing in towards each other and your heels pointing out. We're going to bring our hands to our hips. We're going to just make sure our neck is nice and relaxed. We're going to slightly tuck our tailbone under just to protect it as we go down. And then we're going to fold forwards, making sure our knees are nice and soft. We're going to breathe in. And as we breathe out, we're going to deepen the stretch. Shake and nod your head. Make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. Breathe in to find length. Breathe out to let go. 2 more breaths here. Making sure your knees haven't locked out, that they're nice and soft. Then we're going to slowly curl back in, tucking our tail under, coming back up to the top. Brilliant. So now we're going to do something that's really good as a shoulder stretch. So we're going to keep our feet the way they were, but we're going to hold our hands. I'm just going to come forward so you can see. Clasp our fingers like this. So this is going to give us a really nice stretch in our shoulders. You might find it's quite intense. So if you don't feel comfortable doing this, then just listen to your body, put your hands back on your hips, and do the same thing again. So again, just thinking about our shoulders in our sockets, our shoulder blades down our backs. Just holding on to that cradling of our fingers. We're going to breathe in to find the length and breathe out to let go. So bringing our arms over our backs, feeling that stretch in our shoulders. Breathing in to find length and breathing out to let go. And then making sure our knees are bent as we slowly come up, our head being the last thing that comes to the top. From here, you're going to toe heel your feet back together. You're going to come to the front of your mat and you're just going to gently come down to a sitting position. From here, we're just going to do those C curls in our spine one more time. Just make sure you can feel your sitting bones underneath. So feeling that length in our spine when we breathe in. And as we breathe out, that C shape in our spine. Breathing in. And as I breathe in, I'm bringing my shoulders back and down. And as I breathe out, I'm allowing some space between my shoulder blades. And then I'm going to find that sweet spot. I'm going to make sure my neck isn't engaged. And I'm just going to breathe for 3 breaths here. Then I'm going to come all the way down to a lying position. And I'm going to just notice the feeling of the mat underneath my back. The mat underneath my feet. I'm going to bring my feet in front of my sitting bones. Make sure that my shoulders are nice and connected to the mat. I'm going to bring my arms above my shoulders and I'm going to lift one hand at a time so that each shoulder blade comes off the mat and then rolls back down to the mat. Then I'm going to bring my arms out to a T. I'm going to hug my knees in and then I'm going to just let them drop over to the right hand side. From there, I'm going to slowly creep my left arm across the top of my body, all the way down my right arm, all the way past my right hand, a little stretch further, and then come all the way back across my body and back into a T. When we're in a T, we want to try and feel like we've got both shoulder blades on the floor. Again, let's do that 2 more times in your own time. One more time, creeping across the top, along the arm, past the hand, breathing, and then back to our T. And let's just take a couple of breaths in with our arms out wide, our shoulder blades connecting, feeling that twist of our internal organs. So good for all your organs, this one. Just notice where feels good for your neck. It might be that you want to look towards your bent knees, or you might want to look up towards the ceiling. Just make sure your neck feels comfortable. Then bringing your knees back into the centre and then dropping them over to the left hand side. Take a minute to make sure your shoulder blades are connecting to the mat. Notice the feeling of the mat underneath your shoulder blades. And then we're going to creep that right arm all the way across the top, all the way past your hand. Nice stretch in the shoulder blades, coming back.
Making sure we can feel that connection of the shoulder blades once we get to our T. And 2 more times in your own time. Maybe allowing your head to follow your hands so that your neck is having a little stretch too. Really good. And from here we're going to bring our knees back up to the centre. We're going to breathe in and then pull in our knees, giving ourselves a nice big hug. Maybe bringing your neck off the ground. Breathing in and out to come back. We're going to breathe in and bring our knees really tight in and breathe out to let them drop down. Let's do that one more time. Breathing in and out. We're going to bring our feet so that they're mat distance, mat width distance. And then we're going to just slowly drop our knees from one side to the other. And go with the sort of pace that feels natural for you. But maybe after a few, if you go fast, try and do some really slow, mindful ones. If you're very slow and mindful, maybe do some freer, kind of more fluid ones. Then we're going to just keep our feet in front of our sitting bones. We're going to take a breath. We're going to just put our hands underneath our back and notice that there's a little space there at the bottom of our back. And then I want you to try and just push into your feet and feel how your back pushes back into the mat. And then release it and then do it again. Now you don't want your sitting bones to be coming off at all. This is just a tiny movement at the very base of your spine, but such a lovely and relaxing movement to make. And now I want you to imagine that your hips are a clock. So I want you just to move your hips to 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then just rolling round the whole clock face, going one way, maybe the other way, really feeling the whole of the pelvis as it connects with the mat. Excellent. Now we're ready for our Shavasana. So bring yourself into corpse pose. So your legs should be stretched and we find ourselves in a lying down position. Now just take a moment to start with your feet, your heels, noticing the connection with the mat, the backs of your calves, your glutes, how your lower back doesn't connect to the mat. Shoulders, how the neck doesn't connect to the mat, and the back of your head. And just start to notice your breathing. What happens when you breathe in and when you breathe out. Take one breath in and let it go. And another one of those. Breathe in and sigh it out. And just put your hands on your stomach and start to breathe into your stomach. Breathing in for 4. Pausing at the top and breathing out for 7. out for 7. And continue with that breath as your body starts to settle. Noticing any thoughts that come into your head, naming them and letting them go like clouds passing in the sky. Maybe it's shopping, children, work, but let them go. Breathing in and out. In the cool air, out the warm air. In to nourish, out to expel any negativity or unused breath. And then slowly bring yourself back into the room. Wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Maybe take a full body stretch. And then bring your knees into your chest. Give them a hug. And then dropping your knees over to one side. Taking a moment just to stay there. And then pushing into your top arm as you come back to a seated position. Just close your eyes and notice. Notice the tingles of energy that have been released, the warmth or coolness in your body. And I end my practice in the way that I began, thinking about kindness. I bring my hands together in my heart centre. I touch my head to encourage kind thoughts, my lips to encourage kind words, and my heart to encourage kind intentions. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day.